Welcome to English Vocabulary Channel. A strong English vocabulary is built not only by learning new words but also by understanding how words relate to one another. Two of the most important relationships in vocabulary are synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms are words with similar meanings, while antonyms are words with opposite meanings. Learning them effectively helps you communicate with greater accuracy, improves your reading comprehension, enhances your writing, and prepares you for competitive examinations such as IELTS, TEFL, UGC NET, SSC, UPSC, GRE, and other English proficiency tests. In today's lesson, we'll explore practical and proven techniques for mastering synonyms and antonyms in a way that makes them easier to remember and use confidently. Let's begin by understanding what synonyms are. A synonym is a word that has a meaning similar to another word. For example, the word happy has synonyms such as joyful, cheerful, delighted, content, and pleased. Although these words are similar, they are not always identical. Each carries a slightly different tone or level of intensity. For instance, ecstatic expresses much stronger happiness than pleased. Learning these subtle differences helps you choose the most appropriate word for different situations. Antonyms, on the other hand, are words with opposite meanings. The antonym of generous is selfish, the opposite of ancient is modern, and the opposite of optimistic is pessimistic. Understanding antonyms not only improves vocabulary but also strengthens your ability to understand contrast in reading passages, academic writing, and everyday conversations. One of the most effective ways to learn synonyms and antonyms is by studying them in word groups rather than individually. Instead of learning the word beautiful alone, create a vocabulary cluster that includes synonyms such as attractive, elegant, stunning, gorgeous, and magnificent, along with antonyms like ugly, plain, or unattractive. Organizing words into related groups helps your brain build stronger memory connections. Learning vocabulary through context is another scientifically supported strategy. Rather than memorizing isolated word lists, read books, newspapers, articles, and stories where synonyms and antonyms naturally appear. For example, in the sentence, although the weather looked gloomy in the morning, the afternoon became bright and cheerful, the words gloomy and cheerful create a clear contrast, making their meanings easier to understand and remember. Another highly effective technique is creating vocabulary maps. Write a target word in the center of a page, surround it with synonyms on one side and antonyms on the other, and connect related words with lines. This visual organization helps your brain recognize relationships between words instead of memorizing them separately. Many learners find that colorful diagrams and mind maps improve long-term retention. Flashcards are another excellent learning tool. Write the target word on one side of the card and list its synonyms, antonyms, pronunciation, and an example sentence on the other side. Review your flashcards regularly using spaced repetition, which means revisiting words after increasing intervals of time. This method has been shown to improve long-term memory significantly. Reading a dictionary or thesaurus can also strengthen your vocabulary. A thesaurus provides groups of related words, allowing you to discover multiple synonyms for a single word. However, remember that synonyms are rarely perfect replacements. Before using a new word, read its example sentences to understand how native speakers use it in real contexts. One common mistake learners make is trying to memorize too many synonyms at once. Instead, focus on quality rather than quantity. Learn 5 to 10 words each day, understand their meanings, study their opposites, and use them in original sentences. Consistent daily practice is far more effective than memorizing large word lists without revision. Another useful strategy is comparing degrees of meaning. Consider the words cold, cool, chilly, freezing, and icy. Although they all relate to low temperatures, each describes a different level of intensity. Similarly, words like small, tiny, miniature, and microscopic represent increasing degrees of size. Understanding these subtle differences makes your vocabulary more precise and expressive. Writing your own example sentences is one of the best ways to remember new vocabulary. Suppose you learn the word generous. Write a sentence such as, "The generous donor funded several scholarships for deserving students." Then write another sentence using its antonym. The selfish businessman refused to help anyone in need. Creating meaningful examples helps move vocabulary from passive recognition to active use. Another enjoyable learning activity is playing synonym and antonym games. Challenge yourself or a friend by choosing a word and quickly naming 3 synonyms or 3 antonyms. You can also solve crossword puzzles, vocabulary quizzes, or online word games that reinforce these relationships. Turning vocabulary practice into a game increases motivation and makes learning more enjoyable. Reading aloud is another valuable technique because it combines pronunciation, listening, and speaking. Whenever you learn a new word, pronounce it clearly, then say its synonyms and antonyms aloud. Hearing and speaking vocabulary activates different parts of the brain, improving recall and pronunciation simultaneously. It's also important to understand that some words have multiple meanings, and their synonyms may change depending on the context. For example, the word bright can describe intelligence, strong light, or cheerful personality. Therefore, always study words within complete sentences rather than relying only on dictionary definitions. Technology provides many opportunities for vocabulary learning. Educational apps, online quizzes, digital flashcards, and vocabulary websites often include exercises specifically designed to practice synonyms and antonyms. Many of these platforms use spaced repetition and interactive activities to make learning more engaging. Finally, remember that the ultimate goal is not simply recognizing synonyms and antonyms but using them naturally. Practice replacing common words in your writing. Instead of repeatedly using good, try words like excellent, outstanding, remarkable, or exceptional. Instead of saying bad, consider poor, inferior, harmful, or unpleasant, depending on the context. These small changes make your English richer and more sophisticated. In conclusion, mastering synonyms and antonyms is one of the fastest ways to expand your vocabulary and improve your communication skills. By learning words in groups, studying them in context, using vocabulary maps, practicing with flashcards, writing original sentences, reading regularly, and reviewing consistently, you'll gradually develop a stronger and more flexible command of English. Whether your goal is exam success, professional communication, or everyday fluency, these strategies will help you express yourself with greater confidence and precision. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more English vocabulary lessons, grammar tutorials, exam preparation tips, and language learning strategies. Comment below with one new synonym or antonym you learned today and use it in a sentence. Keep practicing every day, keep expanding your vocabulary, and see you in the next lesson. Happy learning! Remember to see the description box below to learn more.